What's going on, guys? Welcome back to an episode of Fishing with Flair. Today I have a tackle grab unboxing for the month of January, and we'll get right into it. Alright, so it looks like this month's box came with four baits, and we'll start off with the backstabber crankbait. It's a backstabber square bill, looks like, in chartreuse black. This looks kind of like a 1.5 size and dives 0 to 4 feet. Let's see. Yeah, it's 2.5 inches long. It weighs a half an ounce, and it retails for $8.99. So if you don't know what backstabber lures are, you can see there's a hook on the back. It's connected just with this right here instead of down here. The hook hanger is up top. That's just to increase hookup ratio and to prevent snags. So when you're reeling your crankbait and it hits a log like this, there's no hooks to really get onto except for that back one, which usually it'll kind of roll over kind of like it just did. I have, I think, one or two of these, and I've never really used them or taken much time to really give you my opinion whether the hooks on the back really do make a difference, or if they're a benefit or not a benefit. But I do like the color, especially in the size. That's kind of my go-to size. It says 2.5 inches long, but it's kind of like a KVD 1.5. If that's kind of usually the reference that I use, or like a Livingston Dive Master Junior. Pretty similar size for the bass around here. That's kind of what I like to use. Next, we have a River to Sea S Waver. This goes somewhere between $13.64 and $17.84. You can see it's a big old swim bait. It's got a single joint, and it's shaped like a trout with the pattern of a trout on it. And it, I think I've seen these work in the water, and it just kind of, they call the S Waver. It kind of just swims like this, back and forth, real natural. And these are really cool. I've never really used much of them or had much success on them, but they're really, really cool baits. And the cool thing about fishing something like this is you get a lot of follow-ups, which means if the bass or pike or whatever you're fishing for sees it, I mean, you're not going to catch a lot of fish with this. You're just going to get a lot of follow-ups, which means if this thing is swimming in the water, there'll be a pike or a bass that just sits there and watches it swim. It doesn't eat it, doesn't attack it. So I like to use big swim baits like this when I'm pre-fishing. I'm looking for bass, and if I'm in a spot and I want to see if there's big bass in here, see what the size of the bass are without hooking them, sometimes I'll put on a big swim bait such as this one and throw it around and just see if I can get anything to follow it, especially if it's in clear water. That makes it pretty easy as well. Let's see, yep, dives up to 2 feet is what it says. And yep, it just says it has a gliding motion, kind of like a fluke in the water. Pretty cool bait there. And just to touch a little bit on something like that, so, you know, I don't even own anything really that similar to that, but here's the deal. So when you're a tournament fisherman like I am, I fish a lot of tournaments where I'm the captain, where I'm in the front of the boat, and then I'll have a co-angler in the back, and so I'm in charge and I kind of do what I want. But starting this year, I'm turning 18 tomorrow, actually, Thursday the 29th. And once you're 18, you can travel with the bass club that I'm in. Last year I wasn't able to travel with them for liability reasons, and I was only able to fish the local circuit, and that I was the captain in the local ones because I know the lakes around here and I know them pretty well, and I felt comfortable enough to be a captain. But now that I'm going to be turning 18 pretty quick here, that I want to be a co-angler. That's really what I want to do. Most people want to go from a co-angler to a captain. I kind of want to go from a captain to a co-angler to get more of a learn a little bit more about bass fishing. And so something like this, really, I wouldn't normally, probably if I was a captain, I probably wouldn't throw this. You have to think, when you're in the back of a boat and there's a guy, he's controlling the boat, he gets to pick where you guys go and all that stuff, you have to have just about everything. And that's why I like doing these monthly boxes like Tackle Grab and all the other companies, because they give you baits that you would not normally buy, such as this one. I probably wouldn't spend $17 on that lure. But that's not to say that you wouldn't catch a fish on it, and come tournament time, that stuff's kind of important. So kind of got off track with the unboxing, but I just wanted to touch, because some people might be seeing stuff like that, like, I would never throw, you know, a 7-inch rainbow trout swim bait, but, you know, you wouldn't, but the guy that you're fishing with that's in the front of the boat might be throwing something similar, might be in the location where you throw it, and you're kind of out of your element when you're in the back of the boat. So something like this is not a bad thing when you get something that you've never had or never tried, which is kind of the purpose of the monthly tackle box boxes that I get. So anyways, kind of went off on a little tangent there, but I know some people are going to be thinking that something like that isn't that valuable, when in reality it is. It's pretty valuable. Next we have a Culprit Incredi Slim. I believe this one is pretty new because I know they have the Incredi Craw, and this one a little bit slimmer. I think it's made for kind of a punching style. It's 3.5 inches long, and it's a small little finesse creature style bait with a ton of appendages. As you can see there, they're kind of all hanging out. And you can do a lot of things with this guy. You can take off these bigger pinchers. As you can see there, you can take off these bigger pinchers and turn it into more of a Zoom brush hog type deal, or a Gambler bacon rinds. Or you can take off the curly ones and make it more of a craw style bait like that. So you could use that as like a trailer on a jig. You do a lot of things with this one. And it's a nice size, especially for 1 to 2 pound bass, which is normally what I'm trying to fish for in tournaments or just for fun. That's usually the size of bass. And green pumpkin, blue flake, always a go-to color there. Those go for $4.99. Comes in an 8-pack, and then here are some Gambler. These are the Flappy Daddies, and this is in white color. And if you guys have, I guess I really haven't made a, I mean, I've made unboxings, but I haven't made a tackle arsenal. But I honestly own at least a dozen packages of these, and then I have a couple pro packs that have 50 of them. So all combined, I probably own 250, 300 of these Flappy Daddies. These are what I use on the back of all of my flipping and pitching jigs. When I'm flipping in trees and stuff like that, I've also Texas rigged this and swam it through the water column and stuff like that. It's a really good profile. I usually bite off like an inch of it, like right there, and thread that up on a jig. So you can use this as a swim jig. Since it's white, you could use it as a bed fishing bait as well. Bass really don't like crawfish and anything in particular invading their their nest and their bed. And white is always a go-to color for bed fishing. That way you can see it a little bit easier. And that goes for $2.34 for a 4-pack. We have the Tackle Grab sticker, like always. And then this one is just like a little Culprit card about the Incredi Slim. So that's it. Only 4 baits, but it looks like you're talking well over 30 bucks, especially with this guy. Ranging around $17. Pretty awesome box. I'll be honest. They sent quite a few good things. I wouldn't. The only thing that kind of stands out is this one. I throw square bills almost every time I go bass fishing, especially in like the summer, spring, fall. This guy right here, something very similar to this, I would be throwing all the time. I'm constantly using jigs, so this would work good on the back of a jig. I'm constantly flipping and pitching, so this would work all the time. And then, like I said, this would be kind of like one of those deals where you're just trying to have fun, or you're in a tournament and you're pre-fishing, or you're in a tournament and you're a co-angler and your captain's throwing a swim bait, or even sometimes if the captain is throwing something real quick, like a spinnerbait, chatterbait, jerkbait, something like that, and you want to follow up with something slow, something that swims like this and real slow and subtle, that's also a good time that you would like to pick up something like the River to S Waver. So that's it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. More unboxings to come, and that's it. Thanks for watching.